So because a property is such a large asset, getting it wrong carries major risks, because trying to fix it at a later stage is excruciatingly difficult, and it can be very expensive. And once you realize the consequences of getting it wrong, the decision that a property investor needs to make, and I mean, these are property investors that we're speaking to. We're not speaking to the guy that buys one property, because then we'd be having a different conversation. I'm speaking about the guys that want to create wealth through property investment. And property investment, to create wealth, you're going to buy multiple properties. So off the bat, everyone that's listening right now falls into this category. And that's the reality. That's what needs to be accepted right now. Yes, not one size fits all, but because each of you have very similar goals and objectives in mind, there are certain rules that you need to bear in mind. So this, for example, one of the first conversations that I normally have is your private estate planning. So let's forget for a second your business relationships with somebody else and how you're going to manage that company and who does what and what decisions are made. Let's start right now at the basic. If a person passes away, and this is a natural person, what's a natural person? It's you and I. It's just us. It's our families. It's not a company. It's nothing shrouded in disguise. It is purely you and me, as an example. Now, if we pass away as individuals, there are tax consequences associated with that on the day that we pass away. That means that if we own a property, the value of the property is going to be taken into account, and guess what? It's going to form part of your estate, which is taxable. If you own shares in a company that owns a property or that owns any business, the shares are going to be valued, they're going to form part of your estate, and again, you're going to be taxed on it. So as an example, as a real life example, when we do the calculation on a 10 million rand estate, and like Andrew, to be honest, 10 million rand is not a lot for a property investor. It's nothing, right? It's a couple of properties. It's a handful. When we did the maths, it came up to about 33% of a 10 million rand estate that gets paid out in costs. So that's tax, that's executors' fees, that's transfer costs, a whole range of costs when you pass away. So imagine out of 10 million rand, 3.2 million rand just goes. Now, you've worked so hard to leave this for your family, and what happens? Your family loses 3.2 million rand. And the worst part is, it could have been avoided. You could have saved 3.2 million rand.
And that's scary, because if you're worth 100 million, are we talking 33 million?
In fact, if you're worth 100 million, the calculation is 25%, not 20%. So here, the state duty is 20%. Anything above 30 million is calculated at 25%. So it's probably going to cost you around 40 million to 45 million.
Ouch.
Yeah.
And